Woo-hoo. What's going on? Hopping on, getting set up. Let me check, make sure everything's working. What's going on, everyone? I'm Sam Lazarus, creative director for Rokoko, and today we are doing any last looks or any last advice people need for the Eternal Ascent animation challenge from Clint, who just finished his stream. He just finished his stream on like doing the last touches and post-processing work for your submissions, but I thought I would hop on. What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Happy Mad Artist? Maiko? What's going on, everyone? Yeah, I thought I'd hop on, and if people are, I mean, if you're anything like me, like, I'm still doing mocap work on my submission, and if anybody has any last questions, if anybody's like still in the thick of it, I figured they could ask some questions, and I'm just gonna be here talking, talking about mocap for the contest, but anything else that anybody has any questions about. So I think we're streaming correctly. Seems to be all correct. Let me know if there's any weird audio-ness or anything like that. I can't see any of the settings for some reason. It's so weird. I think we're good. But yeah, and the other thing that I thought we would do is have a play around with a new ragdoll workflow that I've been playing with for my Eternal Ascent submission. And getting ragdolls in Unreal in such a way that you can use them in Sequencer. You can even export them out to other software and things, and it's just, there's actually a really amazing ragdoll system in Sequencer for most, certainly most characters that you find on the marketplace. But there's some really pre-built ragdoll things that make it really interesting, and I've figured out a way to kind of easily trigger them within Sequencer to get cool collisions and things. So I've got some motion capture, and these are clips that I'm trying to use in my scene. These are some of the last stuff I'm adding. But here, for example, I've got this, like, let's say a knight character, and he's smashing, or she is smashing, like a zombie off of the stairs. And this is something that normally I would use Houdini to do. What's going on, Rushboard? If anybody has any questions, has any mocap questions, throw them in the chat. Yeah, I mean, I'm here to help, I think, people who are, like, panicking at the, and maybe I'll reach them and maybe not, but people who are panicking in their submission, like they're adding motion capture, something's going wrong. Yeah, let me know, and if I can help, we'll try and help, and otherwise we'll be playing with some ragdolls in Unreal. And I think this is a really interesting workflow, again, to get cool ragdolls in Unreal without having to go to Houdini, because what I'm always trying to do is have like ragdoll hits and things on characters in a way that looks realistic and is like relatively easy for me to achieve. So where's a good one? Yeah. So I was recording some mocap for like a creature coming down the stairs who wanted to I was going to hit him in the head by that knight. So let's go, and I'm going to export these, and we're going to play with this workflow. And other than that, put any questions that you have, in the comments. And otherwise, we're going to look at how to trigger some ragdoll events. Okay, and we are going to save this to our Eternal Ascent folder. I'm going to call this Zombie Rush 01. And we're going to export out an UE4 skeleton. Cool, Happy Mad Artist. What's going on? Addy Games? What's going on? Voodoo Tiger. I sense a Blender person in the house. Perhaps. Yeah, Unreal is weird. But what's going on, everyone? Let's get into these weird ragdolls. So this is I was just recording this motion capture, and my wife came out of her office and laughed at me because it looked ridiculous, which is a frequent occurrence in my house. But I think it will look cool in our Eternal Ascent project. So let me show you what I'm thinking here. And I'm actually going to delete all these. And I want to go to my Eternal Ascent Unreal Engine. I'm going to take this. I'm going to start a new project because this is something that I think I'm going to try and do ragdolling like in separate projects and bring them into my final project. Yeah, Unreal has the y-axis flipped. Unreal, the y-axis is Z, which is insane to me. Makes no sense. But let's start a fresh project here for Eternal Ascent, because I want the stairs. Because we're trying to do this onto the stairs, and I could rebuild the stairs, but I think this is going to be the way that we're going to do this. And I'm going to call this EA Ragdoll. And let's call this EA Ragdoll. And let's open it up. Every software is real. What's going on, Samala? Samala? I'm a Sam. I'm a Samala. I'm not a Samala, I guess. But yeah, what's going on? Anyone joining us? I'm just here. If anybody needs help finishing up their project, has any questions, especially about motion capture, about other things, I can try to help too. And also, of course, like go watch all of Clint's streams that he's had over the past couple weeks, because he goes through every single aspect of you know, the Eternal Ascent challenge. I'm still very new to Blender from Travis, but I could still not get the Mixamo character attached to the animation. Oh no! Do you want me to go through it, Travis? Can be frustrating. Travis, we can jump into Blender and go through that workflow right now if you want. The key to, or the way that I go, well, let me show you also. Look at this. Ragdoll deep dive. Let me pull up a new Blender Rokoko. So if you go to the Rokoko main YouTube channel and you go to the retargeting workflows, this Blender workflow should have everything that you need to get moving and grooving. Yeah, well, why don't we go through and just do it just so you see. So yeah, but this tutorial, and let me copy it here so it'll be in the chat. Let me copy it. So this tutorial should have everything that you need to know, but let's open up Blender here and let's do it ourselves. And we're gonna leave Unreal open in the background and just tempt fate with crashing. I do have Cinema 4D open too. Let's close that. Let's keep everything open. So delete my default cube. So what we're gonna do in order to get a Mixamo character working with the mocap data from Clint for the project, for the challenge, is we're gonna go to import, And first, let's go import FBX. And this is a Mixamo rig that I auto rigged on Mixamo. So I'm gonna go find that. You're gonna download an FBX. It should be in a T-pose from Mixamo. You auto rig it, you go to animation, you add T-pose to the animation, and you download it in a T-pose. And then when you're importing it, make sure to check automatic bone orientation, which I'll just go and import again. Import FBX, select your FBX, under armature, make sure automatic bone orientation is checked, and it'll come in. It should remain in a T-pose even if you go into edit mode. So here it's changing slightly, and you'll see why that becomes important. But basically you just want your character to be in a T-pose. Then you go to the Rokoko plugin. We're gonna go to import FBX, and then we're gonna go navigate to Eternal Ascent. And there's this Eternal Ascent Mixamo skeleton FBX that is on the Discord that Clint added. Which should be, I believe, up here somewhere. It's under Announcements in Eternal Ascent. Use this mocap file to make retargeting easier. Yeah, EA mocap Mixamo skeleton. So that's what this is right here. And we're going to check automatic bone orientation. And you can see when I hit play, the first frame is a T-pose, but then there's the proper amount of frames that are the animation, right? So to do this retargeting, what we go and we got to choose a retargeting plugin or software. I'm using the Rokoko plugin. And we're going to go to source. We're going to select our motion capture, which is armature 01. Target is going to be our character, our Mixamo character, which is called armature. We're going to hit build bone list. This should automatically fill out, but if it doesn't, you can go and select these individually. And then you just hit retarget animation, and it should work pretty much. There you go, we got it on our character. And if there are, and then, I mean, at this point, we don't need the mocap file anymore. So what I wouldn't do is, like, in the Blender file that Clint provided, the template file, that is not going to really work for your retargeting. You're going to want to go get that motion capture file and go through the process that we just went through, and then maybe position him on the stairs in the right place, right? But you're not going to be able to use the file that's in the template, I believe, to do your retargeting. Soto, what's going on? Soto Monte, the famous. Thanks for joining us, man. It's a good stream, amazing stream. Soto Monte running the most professional ass stream over there on Clint's channel every week. But yeah, so that's the kind of the workflow there. Yes, yeah. So Travis, go get that other file in the Discord, and I would use that. And then either go to the stream that I did on Clint's channel and go to the Blender section, or go to this Rokoko tutorial on retargeting. And this should answer all your questions. So I hope that works. Yeah, the one from the initial file, like, that might be able to work too, but I think from what I remember, it's a little squirrely. I think it's just like the T-pose is back one frame. You can't see what I'm doing, but you know, it's like on 0 and not on 1 or something, or it's on -1. And anyway, so yeah, I would try that. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Yeah, man. Yeah, Travis, my pleasure. Yes, man, if I actually helped you, I'm so happy about that, because that's what I was trying to do on this stream. Can you use, okay, so that's Blender. Anyone else has more questions about Blender? You want to get more into that? Let's do it. Put them in the chat. We can go into Cinema. People have questions about Cinema. Maya questions. Throw them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to continue playing around with this ragdoll workflow. So one thing I'm going to do in here, I want to see collision. Do these... So these do not have colliders on them. Interesting. Command E. Huh. Collision. So maybe we'll do this, but basically we need to add some colliders onto our stairs. So now if I go and I go to show collision, no. Okay, so it's backwards, so we need to do that kind of deal. It's backwards and it's on the wrong. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is the collision side. Cool. I think there's probably a better way to do this actually. So we're not going to probably go and add separate collisions for all of these guys. Show collision. Okay, but let's go and how are we gonna do this? Okay, levels, EA template, opening up the template. Then I'm gonna go to sequences, open up the sequence, and we've got our sequence here. Okay, Shift C to go in and out of camera view. Okay, so what we're doing is first I need to go and I'm gonna go and add a weird monster character that I want to get ragdolled. And this is like, as with everything that I do, this is so jury rigged. However, I think there is a cool potential setup here for creating ragdolls in an easy-ish way. So I'm gonna go, I got this blind creature, super duper creepy, looks really cool. And I'm going to go to the skeleton and I'm gonna make sure that it knows it's compatible with the UE4 skeleton. Save. And then we are going to go and we are going to import the motion capture that I made. What was it called? Did I ever export it out? I didn't export it. Okay, and here we go. So this is motion capture that I made. Okay, and what do we got? Any questions? Ragdolls. Can you make a ragdoll to make two characters interact when they hit each other? Yeah, I mean, that's the question. And I'm sure that you can. I know that you can. And they have something called active ragdoll in Unreal that really takes this to another level. So I grabbed the FBX out of Rokoko Studio, uncheck import mesh, import it onto the SK mannequin, import all, and we're gonna get this animation on our mannequin, and that means that when we go and we add our blind creature, And we add our blind creature to sequencer. We add our zombie mocap, and we gotta really, okay, it's annoying that it always does this. Pivot, set pivot offset here. We'll see if it actually sticks around. It didn't. So frustrating. Okay. Pivot. Set as pivot offset. Okay, maybe it'll stay now. Okay, so we need to I think we need to scale this guy down a little bit. Okay. Okay. So now it gets interesting here. So we got our monster. And I'm curious about, I don't know how much effort I want to go through to lock the legs into place and everything. But let me show you the gist of how this works. And I am tempted to try and bake this to a control rig to actually fix where these legs are. See you, Soto. Enjoy dinner. So what will happen is if we just go and we select our creature, we go to physics and we hit apply physics. So nothing's happening. But if we go and we actually hit play, yeah, he'll get just sent into a million. He'll get sent off. Show collision. But what we can do is we will select our guy. We are going to hit Control E and go into the physics panel. We're going to select all of these constraints, all of these physics bones, essentially. We're going to change physics type to kinematic and hit save. And now what we can do is, let's say right here, this is where we want our animation to trigger, or this is where we want a ragdoll to trigger. So we're going to go to hit plus event trigger, and I'm going to add an event track right here. Then I'm going to add a keyframe, right click on that keyframe, go to properties, and then under unbound, we're going to go to simulate. Type in simulate, and we want to select set all bodies below simulate physics. It's going to pull up a new sequencer event in here. And it should, hold on. How did I get this working? Let's actually go Control E. Give it mass, set linear dampening to 1. Select all of these. Let's change the physics type back to simulated. Trigger, properties. Oh, and then hit new simulate. Under properties in payload, I believe. Yes. There we go. So then at the beginning, I'm going to add another event keyframe. And under properties for this one, I'm going to go to simulate. Reset all bodies, simulate physics. So that means basically at frame 0, it's always going to be reset, just so that when we're playing, we can. I think it should work. We might need to hold on. Right click, properties. Hold on. Add a keyframe, properties. Properties. And sorry, I'm kind of figuring this out as I go, but I did just have this working. I might set up a new level and try it in there because I'm not sure what is exactly happening in here. So let's try this again in a new level. No, it should be. The whole point is that it will actually. So let's take our blind creature and let's create a new level sequence in here. We're gonna call it ragdoll. And the goal is basically to do what we do in Endorphin or in Houdini, which is to trigger the physics at a certain point. So let's say right here. So we are going to add a trigger, event trigger, add a keyframe, properties, simulation unbound, or unbound, set all bodies below, simulate physics, compile, save. So at this point, oh, and then update kinematic from simulation? No. I think what we need to do is go in, and I'm pretty sure I need to go into physics and make all of these physics type kinematic. Save. And now it should... Yeah. So check this out. No. Oh, hold on. Right click, properties, new simulate. Yeah. So this is what we wanted. Okay, so now it's working, essentially. I'm going to add another keyframe here, and I'll show you what I meant here by this. Simulate, reset all body, simulate physics, save. Yeah, so there we go. So look at this. So now we have a animation, and we are triggering the ragdoll at a very specific moment in time, which is really cool. Because we can start playing around with this and get some very interesting results. And what you essentially do is physics simulation is often just about faking it. So what we would do, or this is how I was going to approach it. Did we create a sphere? Oh, let's go and create a sphere. Command E. We need to make sure the sphere has a collision. Seems to. There we go. I don't know what, this looks kind of weird. But right as this gets triggered, right here, what we would do, and sometimes, oh, this is so interesting. I don't know why it does this. Sometimes it like will stop showing me the freaking handles, which is so annoying. I know it's not G. Yes, Happy Mad Artist, exactly. The active ragdoll is super interesting, I think. Okay. So this is where it starts to get a little bit more interesting. Yeah, now we're talking. I mean, and so this is very basic in terms of what we're doing here, but this is so powerful. This is really cool because you are getting very good ragdoll. And what you can do is pair this now with, yeah, a cannonball or like a shield, right? And what we can do even is like make this even stronger. What we want is right when the ragdoll is triggered, we want this thing to hit. That's obviously a little too much. But this gets really cool when you start doing things like introducing, if we were to add another sphere, I mean, and this just starts becoming endlessly like, oh, you can get some really cool things. Like this really does look really good. And then if we want to start playing with this and we want to get something locked in, what we do is we would go to the cinematics, go to the take recorder, we would open up our sequence here, hit play. Oh, we gotta add our creature here. Hit play. Oops. Okay, we've screwed things up. Let's go back to our ragdoll sequence. Yep. So now let's hit play. Hit record. So let's stop this. Remove that one. Let's keep playing. And I think there's got to be a way to kind of automate this a little bit more so that you could really quickly jump in and generate some of the stuff that you were looking for. Okay, so now let's see. The problem is this guy does not want to remember where he should be. Okay, cool. So this looks cool. So then what we would do is we would go, right, we would go back, hit play, do a recording. And there we go. Stop. And now we've got a recording. We can hide our spheres here. So obviously this hit way too hard initially. So now I'm just basically playing around and just getting different different results. Wow, interesting. And this is, I think this is, oh, there we go. Look at that. Looks so good. So we could go and again, right, simulate, do a take. And there we go. I don't know what's up with that. That's interesting. Oh. Maybe it was in the wrong FPS. Interesting. Something about the FPS, I think, is wonky here. So, okay, actually, so now let's go back into our EA. So I remember with the Eternal Ascent files that there was an issue where you had to open up a new level in order to get the physics to start working. So I wonder now if we get this going. Content, sequences. Okay. Because I really want to see if we can add in. I want to see if I can get this working on. Oh, here we go. That's interesting. Okay. Blind creature. Oop. Let's add an animation. Zombie rush. Okay. So right here, I want to add an event, trigger, add a keyframe, properties, quick bind, simulate, set all bodies below simulate physics, compile, save. Right click it again, properties, new simulate. Yes, okay, it's working. At the beginning, let's add another keyframe. Right click it, properties, unbound, quick bind, simulate, reset all bodies, simulate physics. And that's just so that we can continue to play around with this. Yeah. Very cool. Okay, so now what we would do, because I want to see if I can get this working like with my knight character. So let's go grab my knight. Knight errant. Let's add this guy in. Let's go grab the mocap of my knight. Bash. Bash. Knight bash. Let's export. Hey Bagheera, what's going on? So this is trying to mix Rokoko animation leading into a ragdoll in Unreal, which we are doing, I think, pretty well. Okay, so we've got our knight errant. I'm making all of these I'm going to make all these physics types kinematic. Save. Let's grab our knight. And let's give him some mocap in sequencer. We need to go to our content browser to mocap. Night bash, import, uncheck import mesh, import all. We need to make sure that he knows he's compatible with the UE4 skeleton. Okay. Oh, it's so frustrating. Where are my handles? Oh, I'm in take recorder. I think that's why. Ugh. So frustrating. Ugh. What the heck, man? Oh my gosh. This is a crazy way to do this. I can't do this way, right? Okay, well, we are doing it this way. Okay. Okay, well, if Unreal wasn't being so weird. Okay, interesting. So he is hitting it. I wonder what would happen if we added the shield. But I don't think we're going to add the shield, because at this point we just fake it. Right? At this point we are going to add just a shape, a sphere. Ugh. Where are my handles? Okay, well, let's do it the terrible way. Oop. Hmm. I know this is boring, I'm not talking, but I'm just trying to make this look good. I'm so curious to see if I can get this looking... Oop. Okay, so now let's go to the take recorder. Load in our sequence. Add in our blind creature. Hit play. Record. Hit stop. Okay, so now so you can see what I'm going for. It's obviously very rough here. Let's go to sequences. Okay. So this is a bad ragdoll that we got, but Red Beanie not here today. I know. Sorry, Red Belly. I know, Blue Beanie. Looking weird. But yeah, I think this is kind of what I was trying to see if it was possible, and it's not like this was not the best example, but I think this is really powerful in being able to have access to a ragdoll just using a free tool, which is Unreal, right? And this kind of worked. Yeah, this looks pretty good. If it just didn't look so, it's such a bad take, unfortunately. But we can always turn this back on. Now we've got two going. I think we could... Oh, handles are back. Don't know why. See, that looks way cooler. Knocking the feet out from under it. And it's just neat how you can kind of keep playing around. With it until you get something you like, in theory. And then what you can also do, I mean, there are ways to go in and start adding active ragdoll. So having it like curl up into a ball or something after it gets hit. And we can also go in and change the physics. Give it all mass. Linear dampening. And then we can get a little bit more of a realistic result. So that's a lot less crazy. Yeah, that looks cool. Now we're starting to look cool. Wow, so this looks interesting. So this, see, now this looks actually really good. Wow. Okay. Cool. This is like amazing. Look at this. This is really neat. So we go back to frame 0. We go back to our take recorder. We load in our scene again. Hit play. Record. How was that? If like that wasn't a good one, we just go back, we hit record again, and we just like record it until we get one that we like. So we don't like that. Let's try that one. A little bit better. Don't like it anymore. There we go. So that was a really good one. Wow. See there. See this is now we're starting to get a cool result. Like that is pretty legit. This we could make something out of, right? So let's see if we can actually render this and see what happens. It should all work. But in theory, it's set up in a way that will work. Let's see. Okay, right. So it was weird, and that's because I need to go in and I need to actually make the sphere and my blind creature hidden in game, because they're still showing up when I actually pull the trigger on the render. But there we go. So pretty interesting little workflow. I know that this is very much something I just am figuring out, so I'm sorry that was kind of a weird stream of me just being silent and tweaking things. But EA Ragdoll saved movie renders. Let's go. Width is, yep, this is correct in 24. Let's make sure our sequence that we pulled in is 24. What the hell is this? Oh, oops. What did I do? 24. Premiere is just being, or After Effects is just being weird. Let's open that up again. Because that should have worked. Saved, movie renders. Yeah. Cool. Caps lock on? Why is it black? Okay, let's do this again and with properly. Yep. Something is just really weird with my After Effects right now. I do not know what's happening here. But this is our render. Hits him. You got disable motion blur, but look at that. So good. Really good. Nice, Travis. That's awesome. Happy to hear, Travis. Test. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my gosh, I think my computer just is having a little bit of a moment right now. Whoa, hey buddy. Sure. Let's do this. Eternal Ascent, EA Ragdoll, saved, movie renders, yeah, image sequence. Make sure that it knows it is 24 FPS. Yeah, there we go. So interesting little workflow. You can imagine I think this could be really useful in a bunch of cases. It's just cool to be able to trigger it and then record it and play it back in this way. Still needs a ton of work, obviously. And I guess you would go in and you would do your mocap editing first. And you would just go in and do this on top of the sequencer asset in the take recorder. Kind of weird. So yeah, that's about it. And I think, you know, we'll call it pretty soon with that. I don't think I'm not hearing too many questions about the contest. I think everyone's pretty much done with it. But I do think it was cool that we got to go through this kind of interesting workflow here for ragdolls. And I think I'm going to be doing a lot more of this in the future because it's just very interesting and something that I love, being able to do ragdolls like this, you know. I still don't really understand. So this is an actor. Huh. And this is transform data on the root. It's also interesting that it's like steppy. Bizarre. Interesting. Cool. Happy you learned a little bit. Happy Mad Artist. Yeah, it's an interesting little workflow. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna call it there. This was a short little stream, but I just wanted to hop on in case people were having trouble, and at least we helped out one person, Travis. So excited to see the results for the animation challenge, for Clint's animation challenge. I'm still working on mine. I'm gonna be working on mine tonight, and yeah, I think I'll call it there unless there are any more questions. Thanks for stopping in for a quick little shorty, everyone. Little Friday stream. It's definitely an interesting one. Weird one. Okay. Yes, we will do some tutorials that are more actually, you know, go through this process in a way that makes more sense and isn't just me kind of clicking around and trying to figure things out. But yeah, thanks for stopping in, everyone, and we will see you next week when we're back at it. Go play with the coil a little bit. And yeah, I'm going to call it there. Okay. Well, thanks for stopping in. We'll see you next week. And peace out, everyone. Bye.